The Jefferson County Post is at Jefferson County High School today, and as you all know, the month has changed. It's now November, and nothing is more exciting in November than Night of the Patriots. This is the 26th anniversary of Night of the Patriots, and we are here in David Seal's workroom. David is at the helm of Night of the Patriots again this year, and we welcome him to tell us some about it.
Thank you. Glad to be here, Chrissy.
This year, I know that Night of the Patriots is on November the 8th.
Right.
And that's your veterans showing. Can you tell us a little bit about what the veterans need to know about that particular date and their times?
Well, the show starts at 7 p.m. and there is a Veterans Chili Supper at 5 p.m. That's the two most important times there on November the 8th. The veterans need to get here early and find a parking place, and when they get here, we will have uniformed cadets in the parking lot to assist them to the door if they happen to need assistance. We'll also have parking spaces set aside for anyone that is less mobile or disabled.
So veterans, I know this particular performance is now in the James D. Swan Center for Performing Arts, and the seating is limited to, how many seats do we have?
We have approximately 630 seats, and we reserve the night show, which is November the 8th, for the veteran audience and the veterans' families and any guests that the veterans bring, and it usually fills the auditorium up. There are a few seats left for members of the public, and we try to give the veterans seating priority until 6:45 p.m., which is just after the Veterans Chili Supper. That way, when the veterans take their seats, we have a couple of hundred empty seats, and the public can come in and fill those.
Now, this show in particular is one that involves a lot of students in a lot of different capacities,
yes,
and adult volunteers as well.
Right.
Over the years, you've had 26 years of this. I would think that more than 10,000 people have been involved in this over the course of that time, wouldn't you say?
I would think so. We average about 300 on stage every year, but the 300 on stage does not include the vast number of students outside of the performing arts that work on the program, and I'll speak to that a little bit later in the interview, but we have a large number of students involved with it. 300 is a very safe guess.
And I know that while this is performed in November, you don't start in October. This is a big undertaking.
That's correct.
So as soon as this show stops, another show starts being planned. Is that correct?
That's right. The day after this program, we'll have a meeting, or I'll have meetings with some of the staff members that have worked on it, and we'll have discussions about how to better provide the program next year, how to better plan for it, right down to the mailing list that we send the veterans and public officials. So it's a year-long process. I won't say 365 days a year, but close to it.
And do you find that student involvement has stayed steady over the years? As far as I can see, this is a really highly anticipated thing for the students,
right,
as well. They enjoy interacting with the veterans. They enjoy performing, and they have a high level of talent out here.
That's right. One of the reasons that we show the program to the ninth graders is to increase interest in it. I don't think you could hold the students back if you tried. We're a very patriotic school, and I think students expect to be involved with it when they sign up for any of the performing arts or any of the art programs. Even some of the CTE students that work with me behind the scenes anticipate working on it. So we have a number of those students involved with it this year. Some you might not even think about. One example of that is our cosmetology students. If you're a veteran or you're a patron and you walk in the Commons area at the very beginning, maybe during the Chili Supper before the program, you're going to see veterans displays, hundreds of them across the Commons area. All those have been put together by cosmetology students in our CTE program. So that's just one example of all the involvement we have from students, and they do expect to participate.
I understand too that in order to better convey, I guess, the feeling behind Night of the Patriots, several years ago you all started doing the Voice of Democracy essays.
That's correct.
And also you are giving out quilts of valor.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about the essays and the quilts and how those came about.
Well, I'd love to. When I took over as program director in 2004, 14 years ago, actually. I wanted to introduce something that would express patriotism in a way that we had not expressed before. And at that time, we had started an effort in this high school to improve writing skills. Along with that, the Voice of Democracy has been in place since 1947 with the VFW. And history teacher Brandy Arnold and I decided that it would be of paramount importance to integrate the Voice of Democracy program in with Night of the Patriots. So as of probably Monday or Tuesday, the last few essays had been turned in, recordings had been made. Obviously, when a student participates in Voice of Democracy, they have a written copy and they do a audio copy. So those audios are sent up for competition. The VFW judges those essays, and then the winners are announced at Night of the Patriots. So we feel like it's a very important aspect of our program here to improve writing skills and to express patriotism.
And as far as the Quilts of Valor, that's a relatively newer part of the program.
That's correct. I was looking for a change in approach, so to speak, for the presentations that we made to veterans. We do recognize veterans at the program, but Quilts of Valor is one of the best ways you can recognize veterans. That program was in existence here in the county long before Night of the Patriots, and as Quilts of Valor came along and I noticed that they were presenting to veterans, I wanted them to be part of our program, and when I invited them, they accepted. So we have Quilts of Valor as part of the program, and I hope it remains permanent.
Generally speaking, when you have this number of high school students and this number of volunteers involved, there has to be a huge level of dedication somewhere at the top.
Yes.
Somebody has to be really into what they're doing.
Right.
You've been doing this for several years.
Right.
What motivates you?
I'm a patriotic person. I've been patriotic since I started school in 1967. It's just part of my existence. Along with that, I remember as a 7th grader the discussions that were around the county about what our mascot was going to be. And I remember those discussions took place both in my 7th grade class and my 8th grade class. And I'll never forget it. We decided that we were going to be the Patriots, we were going to be patriotic, and we'd find a way to express it.
I think it's a wonderful program. I know that the veterans look forward to it, but the community looks forward to it as well.
Right.
And so do the students. Tell us again exactly what the veterans need to know. Reiterate, so we're Thursday, November the 8th.
Right.
And they can start showing up at what time?
They can get here at 5 p.m. and enjoy a chili supper with whoever they bring. So what I like to see is all the fellowship that takes place between 5 and 7. That's when I have an opportunity to get out, and this year I'm going to encourage our cast members to get out and join them at the chili supper and greet them and meet them and express their patriotism to the veterans when they come in. So that time from 5 to 7 is just as important as the program is.
And is there a cost to that chili supper for the veteran?
It has always been free of charge, and so is the program. There's never been an admission charge for the program.
And then sometime before 6:45, the veterans are able to have priority seating.
That's correct. We'll actually ask them to come in and be seated at 6:45. That gives them their priority seating, and then general admission after that.
And if there is a disability involved, they don't need to be afraid of the parking lot because there will be assistance, correct?
Right. We try to reserve as many spaces as we can near the flagpole, if you're familiar with the Jefferson County High School parking lot. So we'll get those into the area right in front of the school, and if someone happens to park on a little bit farther distance in the parking lot, we'll have uniformed cadets out there from our criminal justice program. They're marked with blue uniforms. They're easy to spot. They will get you from the parking lot to the door, and then our JROTC cadets will assist from the door to whatever seating the veteran chooses.
It sounds like you guys are ready. I guess this is going to be a big week for you as you all do your final rehearsals. And I know that we're sitting in a room right now, which is your workroom, A lot of the magic is made here,
Right.
and I guess things are fixing to really kick up for you all this week.
Right. You see theatrical props being made here. There's, at one time or another, there has been practice taking place here. What you don't see a lot of times, unless you drive in the parking lot at 7 o'clock in the morning, watching the ROTC students practice their drill demonstration. I drove in one morning, it was barely daylight, and some of the ROTC students were there practicing their KIA, MIA table ceremony. And people just don't see that unless they're here on campus on a daily basis. So I commend those students for their dedication and their work on the drill program.
Well, we certainly look forward to seeing another performance of the Night of the Patriots. It is always a highlight of the year. I think it is one of the best performances in East Tennessee, and you can go to a lot of professional performances and pay a lot of money, and they aren't that same quality.
Right.
So thank you very much, and thank you for honoring our veterans. We can't do that enough. Talk to me for a minute about the people that help you out here. I know that you have a lot of support staff that surround you in this. A performance of this magnitude doesn't come off with just one person.
That's right. We have several departments involved with it that no one ever sees. Mainly the 34 staff members that work with me on the program year-round. I'd like to read from the list and just mention a few of them. Our technology department, Mr. Don Devine and Brenda Devine, they always help us with our connection with the web broadcast. We broadcast live every year on the World Wide Web through WJFC Radio, and they are always good about helping with that. And of course, Susan Steiner is the contact person at WJFC Radio. The performing arts, people you do see, Merritt McElroy, the choral director, and Brian McCampbell, the drama teacher, sponsor of the Jefferson Performing Arts Company. If you got something in the mail or you received a call, that came from our business department. They do the outreach and the mailings. The Media Center staff takes care of the veteran sign-in and registration and some of our data. Like I mentioned earlier, the cosmetology students work feverishly on our veterans displays. As those displays come in month after month, they put those together and arrange them into to the displays you see in the Commons area. We have 5 administrators on the main campus, 2 at Patriot Academy, that are behind the program 100%, and I certainly thank those. The VFW, they're sponsors of our Voice of Democracy essay contest, the Quilts of Valor. They're going to come in with, I think, 3 people this year and present veterans. 3 veterans will be presented quilts, and then any special guests we have. Our media sponsors in the community are WJFC Radio, WNRX Radio. They're tremendous with helping us with publicity. The Standard Banner, the Citizens Tribune, and of course the Jefferson County Post. And I want to tell your readers, even if you don't, that the student essays that are recorded for the Voice of Democracy are going to be read, audio portions read on the newspaper, and then photographs of Night of the Patriots will scroll as you hear those essays. So we certainly appreciate the Post and all of its dedicated reporting of the program.
Well, thank you very much. It is our honor. The essays are always quite good. They're high quality, and if you haven't taken a look at those essays before, you know, it takes a minute to sit down and watch it, but you will not be disappointed. They are quite good.
Right.
And we should have those within what I would think if you.
Those will be transmitted to you just after the program. We have to get through the contest and the judging. Then after that, you'll get a copy of it.
So look for that in the coming weeks.
Right.
And you know, as I said, this is a tremendous performance. It's one of the best things, not in November, it's one of the best things all year. And it is a quality performance. It is the kind of quality that you get for a paid performance, but there is no charge here.
Right.
And it's just a really nice thing for the community,
Right.
and for the students, and particularly for the veterans.
Right.
And we would like to thank you for your dedication and your time and effort in putting into this show so that we can honor our local veterans.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.